I don't necessarily recommend getting married before the age of 28.
You don't recommend that?
I think a person can change so much between the ages of 20 and 28, and that's where I see the aftermath of that. Those people coming into my office who got married to their high school sweetheart or somebody in college very young, and they grew apart. And then by the time they were 30, they were very different people, and it didn't work out.
Hello, this is Marco Rock. Welcome to Inside a Great Mind. My name is Marco Rock. I'm your host, and today we're so thrilled of our guest, Courtney Quinlan. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. So tell us, who's Courtney Quinlan?
Well, Courtney Quinlan is many people. Courtney Quinlan, as far as business, is a professional matchmaker and entrepreneur. I've owned my business, started off as Omaha Love matchmaking, going on 11 years, and we've now transitioned it to Midwest matchmaking. So we service the entire Midwest. So very busy CEO, entrepreneur. Courtney Quinlan is a mother of two beautiful little boys, and a wife of a wonderful husband who's a police sergeant, and local born and raised Midwestern woman myself, 36 years old, and went to school, graduated here at UNL, broadcast journalism, so I should be in your seat, right?
What inspires you to get into the business of love?
Well, I actually got into the business of love really by chance.
Is it by chance?
Really by chance, yeah. So I graduated from school with a degree in communications, broadcast journalism, and at 22 years young, I didn't really know what my passion was yet. I don't think a lot of kids do at that age. So I tried some different careers and ended up working for a national matchmaking service, and really, really fell in love with the industry, fell in love with helping people. I think I've always been a hopeless romantic, so it was just something, it was a perfect fit for me. It was a match made in heaven for me, and every day for me is a journey getting up and doing it, and it's never the same. I'm constantly meeting new clients, and so I think every day I fall more in love with helping people find love.
That's amazing. So it used to be Omaha Love, now is Midwest Matchmaking, correct?
Correct.
So why that transition? Why did you change to Omaha Love to Midwest Matchmaking?
So after starting Omaha Love in 2009, like any business, it takes a while to grow the business, learn what works, learn what doesn't work. And about 2015, I noticed a lot of people were coming to us from not only other cities in Nebraska, but other states, and telling me there's just nothing quite like what we do where they're located at. So I really discovered there's a need for what we do, and I started thinking about how we could do what we do and help these people in other locations, and came up with some really good ideas, started testing them, they worked. My first success story from different locations was a woman out of Tarkio, Missouri, and a gentleman out of Sioux City, Iowa, and I matched them, and they're now married. And after that match, I really realized I can do this. I can match people from across the Midwest without having to travel much myself, and making Omaha still our headquarters.
How does your service work?
So we do not do blind dating here. So basically the first thing we do is I meet and screen everybody in person or face-to-face. When I say face-to-face, I can't be meeting somebody in Kansas City at 2 if I have an appointment in Des Moines at 3. So we do video chat, FaceTime, Skype. So face-to-face, whether it be in our headquarters here in Omaha, or if I'm visiting them in their city, or video chat. And we go through a screening process to make sure they are who they say they are.
Legit.
Right, that they're stable, that they're safe emotionally, financially, that they don't have any kind of extensive criminal histories, and most importantly, that they're serious about this, that they're not just looking to hook up or play the field, and that we have what they want. So once we've gone through that process, we will work with certain people who fit the criteria we're looking for and who will be a good mutual fit to the service. And at that point, like I said, we don't do blind dating, so we show them pictures and profiles. They don't have to meet people that we suggest. They have an option to say no. We suggest that they follow our suggestions, but they have the option to decline. Basically, when one person says yes, the profile is sent to the other person. We have 2 yeses. We set up the date, time, place. All they have to do is confirm it, show up, and we even go as far as getting feedback. So how did it go? They have a good time? Do they want to see that person again? If so, did they already ask them out? If not, would they be comfortable and prefer us to coordinate a second date for them? So we'll even go as far as doing that. And if it didn't go well, why? And that's how it works in a nutshell. The better feedback and communication we get from people, the better job we can do on our end, and the quicker we can find them what they're looking for.
Yeah, amazing. So how do you guys know that during the vetting process that somebody's not really playing the field, or how somebody's really serious about this?
Well, I think the easiest way is just the fact that they have agreed to do a consultation. I don't think that somebody who is not serious about finding love would even agree to do an hour consultation. They would hop on Tinder, where they can swipe right and left and meet somebody pretty quickly.
So what's the difference between online dating and your services?
So that there's plenty of differences. The first obvious difference is that there's no person involved in online dating. It's a computer, it's a robot. It's an algorithm they're using to shoot off matches. We're here as far as the matchmaking service goes, and at Midwest Matchmaking we have a staff of 7, so 7 people to assist our clients. We do the screening to make sure these people are safe and their intentions are the same, their motivations are the same for using the service. We also get feedback. So with online dating, there's the ghosting phenomenon, which is extremely stressful for people. And by using Midwest Matchmaking, we completely eliminate that. We don't allow people to get ghosted here. So we find out if you're not interested, why? And then we can relay that feedback if the other party's not comfortable doing so. We also provide advice and feedback. So if that person is doing something and they're sabotaging dates, which is resulting in them getting ghosted in the online world, we're able to give them that feedback in a constructive way. And we even offer coaching, which is just a much more thorough way of sitting down with that client and going into, hey, this is what's going on. These are the tips that we offer to fix these things to help you land that person you're looking for.
So what advice can you give to somebody, for instance, people who are do like a long distance dating? Because you just say earlier you guys match 2 people, for instance, in different states. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes many people who live in different part of the world that are dating. So what few tips, something like that you can provide long distance relationship?
Relationships are difficult in general. So you add the dynamic of long distance and it makes it even more difficult. So the first thing I would suggest is make sure you can handle that before even going that route. When we meet with our clients here, one of the first questions I ask them is, what are your parameters? How far are you comfortable accepting a match? And we talk about that. Now, if you're prepared to open your parameters up to 3, 4, 5, 6 hours away, are you able to make the time for that person? And that's something you need to ask yourself. Everybody that we work with is pretty busy. So, if you have children, is that going to be a good thing for you? Are you going to be able to relocate? Because you can't be long distance forever. right? So that's the first thing I would do is find out, is this even a good option for you? And if it is, if you don't have a situation that grounds you in one place and would prohibit you from relocating, and you are comfortable being matched on the most compatible matches, not just the people that are close to you, then really remember this is going to take some sacrifice on your end. And also really get to know that person before you commit to something more serious. Try to spend as much time with them as possible, whether it's talking on the phone, Facebook now being available, or FaceTime being available. I mean, that's huge, and that was a resource that people in long distance relationships years ago didn't have. So I would say really utilize all of those things as much as possible. Getting to know this person's friends, family is super important, because then you can really know, is this an environment that you're going to be comfortable in? I think finding out the environment somebody grew up in, what their parents are like, are these people that you're going to want to be with and essentially marry into a family like this, that's very important. The saying that you marry the person, not their family, I don't believe is true. I married my husband's family, he married my family, and I believe that your family is always going to be there. You don't get to choose them, so that's important. You need to know, is this a family you're comfortable with? You really need to get to know this person before you make a commitment to drop everything and move to them, because you're going to get a job there, you're going to try to develop roots, and if it doesn't work, you make a lot of sacrifices and you're back where you started.
It's kind of funny, when I was coming here, I was talking to somebody, and I was like, what kind of question can I ask Courtney? And his question, so how long would it take, is it 1 year, too long dating, or 2 years before any public questions?
I think that's really, really different depending on the person and their background. For instance, if I have two clients who are in their 50s, they've lived a lot of life, they know who they are as people, and they're looking for somebody to spend the rest of their life with. Maybe one lost a spouse, one's divorced. They meet, and that process generally can go a lot quicker, and I believe it can work that way. Whereas you have a couple who they've never been married, they haven't done a lot of dating, they don't have a lot of life experience, they've never cohabitated, and they meet, it can take them 2, 3, 4 years to decide, is this right? Is this the person I want to spend my life with? Because they're not even grown up into the person they're going to be yet at 20. And that's why I really don't, I've seen it work, but I don't necessarily recommend getting married before the age of 28.
I don't recommend that.
I think a person can change so much between the ages of 20 and 28, and that's where I see the aftermath of that, those people coming into my office who got married to their high school sweetheart or somebody in college very young, and they grew apart. And then by the time they were 30, they were very different people, and it didn't work out.
Quite often also we see some women or guy in the late 30s or 40 have a hard time finding love. Mm-hmm. So should those people stay away from online or come to you? What do we tell them?
So I believe what you're talking about are gentlemen who have never been married in their late 30s and early 40s.
It can be women too,
Or women, okay.
And, in their late 30s where they've never been married, and sometimes they find it difficult how to navigate, the scene. They may be a successful business professional, but they not be comfortable going and sit on the bar by themselves,
Right.
trying to look for a guy. Mm-hmm. So what should they do?
Right, so that's actually a very large percentage of the people we work with are people in their late 30s, early 40s who have never been married with no kids. And a lot of those people have put their careers first. A doctor, he's been in school for 10 years. And he's finally in a place where he has everything he wants in life except for that right person to share it with. And so those people really benefit coming to us because they're in a place where a lot of their friends have already settled down, have started a family, and they don't really have anyone to introduce them to. They're not getting the exposure that they're looking for with what they're doing. And those are the people that come to us. They're looking for a certain quality of person, and we attract those kind of people. So we've been extremely successful with those 30s and 40-year-olds in finding them the right kind of people. We're able to get them that exposure that they're not going to get on their own.
So now we're gonna shift the conversation and we're gonna focus a little bit on you. If you were to be an animal, what kind of animal would you be and why?
These are very interesting questions, Marco. I would be a unicorn.
Unicorn, why?
Yes, because they're magical.
Oh.
They're beautiful. They're just amazing creatures.
Who inspires you, Courtney?
My mother. My mother inspires me because she is an amazing woman, a strong woman. I've watched her be married to my father, who is, I love him with all my heart, but not an easy man. And they've had a strong marriage for 37 years now. She's not a quitter. When times got tough, she didn't walk away. And I've watched her develop professionally into an absolutely amazing professional in her career that people look up to. And she didn't start that until she was like 50. So I admire her a lot. And then she's obviously been an amazing mother to me and a really great role model for what I want to be to my boys.
What would be your advice tip to any single women or men out there looking for love?
I would advise them to come to Midwest Matchmaking, Marco.
That's so easy. Okay. What else? What advice would you give them?
I would advise them to, rather than focus on the fact that they're single and there's certain days where they're going to feel lonely, and rather than fixate on that, I would advise them to really work on themselves, to make themselves whole as the person they are and happy with who they are, because they're really not going to find happiness in somebody else until they're happy with themselves.
100% true. How can people find more information about you and your services?
They can visit our website at midwestmatchmaking.com. They can call us at 402-991-4053, or they can email me at Courtney@midwestmatchmaking.com.
Awesome, Courtney. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.